The rapture is a major event in eschatology, and knowing what it is and when it happens is very important. So let's start with the rapture. Let me explain what it is in very simplistic terms. The rapture is an event that could happen at any moment. In a split second, every person who's ever trusted in Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior, both the living and the dead, will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air, and they're taken to heaven to be with Him. Now, that's a very simple explanation of what the rapture is, but I need to add something so that you don't become confused. The rapture is completely different and a completely different event than when Jesus comes back to the earth. You see, Jesus is going to come back to this earth after a 7-year period known as the Great Tribulation. During the tribulation, God is going to pour His wrath upon those who were not raptured. In other words, those who were left behind. But those who were raptured won't have to endure the wrath of God when it's poured out upon the earth, because they're in heaven with Jesus during that time. So don't confuse the rapture with the second coming. In fact, you'll hear a lot of pastors say it's the same thing. So don't confuse the rapture with the second coming of Jesus Christ. Those are two different things. Now, every once in a while, I'll hear a person make this comment: I don't believe in the rapture. In fact, the word rapture isn't even in the Bible. Well, let me just say this. That is a very stupid statement. And let me explain why I say that. Our Bible is a translation from the original languages, Greek and Hebrew, into our language, English. So just because the rapture isn't in our English translations does not mean that it isn't taught in the Bible. It only means that we didn't choose to use that specific word when we were translating the Bible into English. In fact, did you know that the words Trinity, Bible, and grandfather are not in our King James Version Bible? They aren't. But just because the word Trinity isn't used doesn't mean that it's not taught in the Bible. It is. And just because the word grandfather isn't used doesn't mean that there isn't such a thing as grandfathers. Abraham was Jacob's grandfather. Isaac was Joseph's grandfather. But the word grandfather wasn't used when they translated the Bible into English. They used the word father instead. So the word father can refer to a biological father, but it also can refer to a grandfather depending upon the context. But if I use the same reasoning as opponents of the rapture do, I'd have to say that I don't believe in the Trinity, grandfathers, or the Bible, because those words don't appear in our King James Version Bible. And people, that's just plain stupid. So, where did the word rapture come from? Well, it's time for a history lesson. One of the places where the rapture is taught is in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse number 17. Notice what it says. Then we which are alive and remain. What does it mean, remain? Remain on the earth. Shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we be ever with the Lord. That phrase, caught up, is translated from the Greek word harpazo, and it means to take suddenly or to snatch. The best way to describe it is if you're a grandparent and you're playing with your grandkids and you're chasing them. That's kind of funny. My granddaughter Isla does not want to be chased. She gets too scared. I don't know why. So she chases me, but I don't chase her. But I'm looking forward to the time when I can chase her. When I'm chasing her, I'm going to run after her, and then I'm going to grab her and snatch her up. When I snatch her up off of her feet, that's what the Greek word harpazo means. It literally means to snatch up. Now, in the 4th century AD, the great scholar Jerome translated the New Testament from the original Greek into Latin. His translation is known as the Vulgate. Now, when he came to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 17, he translated the Greek word harpazo into Latin with the word raptius, because the Latin word raptius means to take suddenly or to snatch. Well, our English word rapture is derived from that Latin word. It means exactly what the Greek word harpazo does. It means to take suddenly or to snatch. So we use the word rapture to describe the doctrine that Paul was teaching in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 17, and in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 through 55. And that's where we got the term rapture.